Welcome to the Headspace and Tasting Podcast, where we talk manhood, tell stories, and discuss the stuff that matters to us one sip at a time. Hey, Kevin. How's it going?
Merry Christmas, Matt.
Merry Christmas. Even though I'm not a big commercial Christmas fan, like the Target version of Christmas, I do really love celebrating the fact that our Savior came to earth in a miraculous manner, and everything that means.
Sure.
Everything that comes with it. So it doesn't feel very Christmassy outside. We got to do our weather report, as usual.
All right.
Our Eastern Missouri crazy weather. I think it's, 50 degrees right now?
Yeah, it's supposed to get up to 54 today.
Yeah, 70 degrees on Christmas.
They are now pushing to break the record. I think the high for Christmas now is pushing more towards 73 to 75 degrees.
That's ridiculous.
I know, it's great.
And we're probably going to get buried in snow in January.
The week after.
Yeah. Well, we got a lot different things we're going to talk about. We're going to be hopping back and forth. There's a lot of historical events that happened in American history, world history in this time of year.
Sure did.
But first, let's introduce our bourbon.
Matt's pick for today.
My pick for today is another Booker's. This is the 2025 04 release of Booker's, and it is the Phantom Pipes batch.
Yeah, the Phantom Pipes.
So the story is that they said Dad's friend Jack once said there's 3 ways to do something. There's the right way, the wrong way, then there's Booker's way. And there was just apparently some random pipes running through one of the warehouses that they found. They have no idea what they were used for, but apparently Booker was trying some new experimental ways of distillation, and so they called them the Phantom Pipes.
Do you want to be known as the Booker way?
I guess the Booker
Where something is completely unknown and has no ending or no product?
Yeah, the right way, the wrong way, and then Booker's way. So you're neither right nor wrong, you're just Booker. I don't know. But this comes in at 126.4 proof, as they all do. And I don't know if that changes year to year, but this year they've all been 126.4.
Right. This one doesn't taste that way.
It doesn't.
No.
Age 7 years, 6 months, and 15 days. And it is what color? What did you call the color?
Oh, I put it up towards caramel.
Yeah, me too. All the way up to caramel. And it's pretty dark in the bottle. Amber caramel. This is a interesting tasting we have. I think, we tried 02 and 03, and they seemed very different from each other.
Yes.
To me, this feels like it's almost a combination of 2 and 3.
Oh.
I haven't tried 01 yet. I just got a 01, so we'll try that someday. I don't know, but we'll see what that comes out to. But to me, this is nowhere near as harsh as 03 was. 03 that burned.
Yes.
Like that was hot, but it's the same proof. So it's a different combination. This one is most of it. 29% of this batch comes from the 5th floor of Warehouse 4. 22% comes from the 4th floor of Warehouse 3. So this is mostly the higher floors. These are 6 and 7 story. Well, yeah, 6 and 7 story warehouses. So these are up on the higher floors, I guess. 5th, 6th, 4th floor, 3rd floor. But it's full bodied.
Is the higher up that they age give you the higher proof?
I don't know. I would, heat rises, so I'm sure it's a hotter part of the warehouse. Maybe the barrels sweat more, and gives
I
you
don't know if they rotate their
mellow.
barrels. I'm assuming they do.
Huh? I don't know. I mean, if they're pulling it from specific floors for the taste,
Well, that could be where it's at.
profiles. Yeah, I guess so. Could be. We'll have to look into it more. I didn't do much research on it, but after we do our training, our bourbon tasting training we're about to go through, we'll be able to know what floor of the rick house gives you what profile, I guess. I don't know.
Right.
Probably depends on where it is, how close to water it is, microclimates and all that kind of junk. Who knows?
Yeah, before I dig deeper into the profile of this, I do want to give a small shout out to one of our listeners who's actually one of our business partners,
Yeah.
Jason. And the Christmas gift he gave us, which was the Battle Mug.
Yeah, super cool.
And, we're drinking our bourbons out of the Battle Mug right now. And, it's a great little addition to have with the show.
It's cool. Looks like the muzzle of a minigun.
Yeah, we appreciate it.
Really neat. High quality, too, man. That's a solid piece of metal.
Yeah, it sure is.
That's a serious machining job they did. And so thank you very much, Jason. We enjoy working with you, and glad you're listening, and we appreciate you, man.
We'll see you in 2026.
Yep. What'd you get on the nose for this one?
Well, I'm going to be a little biased on this because of a couple of recent dinners that I had, but the initial aroma reminded me of like cooking a Japanese stir fry.
Oh, okay.
The teriyaki and
Interesting.
that kind of sesame vegetable spice kind of put together. And
What do they call it? Umami? Is that the flavor of
I don't know.
earthiness?
I
think
have
it
no
is.
idea. But so here's where my flavor profile gets weird because this is what I smell, but I also smell banana.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Yeah, I had spiced fruit like mulled wine, which we've had before on a couple other, but it's like a not fresh fruit. It's like a, very ripe, mulled, spiced fruit, and I do get some oakiness as well on the nose. How about taste? What'd you get?
Two of the classics: cinnamon, pepper. Had that in there. Certainly the char from the barrel was coming out for me. A little, I'm not going to say it's overly syrupy, like more buttery, but not the butter flavor, just that texture.
The buttery feel. Yeah.
Yes.
I agree with that. It does coat your mouth. Kind of, I guess they call it oily mouthfeel,
Yeah.
but it's not gross.
But it certainly
it's like
didn't, hit me anywhere on the tongue, anywhere until it hit the back of my tongue and going towards the swallow. That's where it was. I could feel it going down.
Oh, yeah.
But it wasn't overwhelming.
No. I got cardamom and some orange peel. Like if you were to like just bite into the peel of an orange, that zest or that kind of like it's almost harsh, but it's pleasant at the same time. Very
I get
orange.
that.
And then finish like you said, it's you don't feel it till it's on the back of your tongue and going down your throat. And it's not an overly harsh heat. It's very pleasant. I wrote down it's a great fall/winter bourbon. Like this is a good bourbon to sit by the fire on a cold night and sip.
Yeah, my closing on it, it was pleasantly spicy.
Yeah.
It's there, but it's not overpowering.
No, not at all.
And it's not non-existent.
And the little bit of spice for me, it lingers, but it's not annoying heat. It's just a little bit of spice in the back of my tongue, and I could feel I'm drinking a bourbon, and which I like. I really enjoy it.
And I'm a second pour in already, and as my mouth adjusts to it, now that I'm drinking it again, it's even more calm than it was before.
Yeah. It's very, very good.
Oh, yeah.
We'll see. Hang on to the end of the show to see our star rating 1 through 5. I think the 02 got 5 stars. 03 got 3 stars from both of us, and we rarely agree on our star rating.
Right.
But we've been right together, and on our flavor wheel, we've been kind of moving towards each other on our tasting. So maybe as we taste more, we're getting a little bit better at it. That's kind of cool.
We're getting in sync with our cycles.
Exactly. Let's jump into some history. All right. So the week before Christmas is full of stuff that happened all the way up to Christmas, and stuff that is, important to you and I. Military history, world history, American history. And as we talked, getting ready for the show, there's a few things. There's the World War I trench, like unofficial truces that happened all along the line on the front. We'll talk about that a little bit. Battle of the Bulge, Washington crossing the Delaware for the Battle of Trenton. George Patton is in there. So there's a lot of important historical events that have happened in and around Christmas time.
Right. Which one you want to do first?
What's the oldest we have here? Let's go chronologically. Washington crossing the Delaware, or do you have something before then?
Well, the Boston Tea Party.
We got the birth of Jesus we could talk about too.
Mm-hmm. But we also had the Boston Tea Party.
That's right. Okay.
That was 1773, but that's on the 16th, so that was a couple days ago.
Mm-hmm. One thing that popped into my head, just to go back to the birth of Jesus, like, I was wondering, why did the angel visit those shepherds to announce the birth of the Messiah? And what is the importance of that? And, why these guys are just out tending their flocks, and then, they're nobody important. But that kind of falls in line with Jesus himself, the humility of it and all of that. But also I read somebody wrote that these specific shepherds were probably, because of where they were in proximity to the temple and all that, they were probably raising the sheep that would be sacrificed in the temple. And so it was symbolic in a way that Jesus is, the sacrifice, the final sacrifice needed. And so that's what I read, and I thought that was very interesting. It was kind of a very humble coming into the world. And he was obviously the most humble man to walk on this earth, perfect in every way. So yeah, I thought, wow, that's a very interesting take, that maybe they were raising, taking care of the sheep that would be used for sacrifices, because they had to be perfect sheep. They had to be a very specific, select sheep that would get sacrificed. So the Boston Tea Party. Mm-hmm. Not that there's any correlation to Jesus, but it's a very important, pivotal event in American history.
Right.
Pre-revolution. So you want to read some details?
Well, first off, the Boston Tea Party was the trigger that actually moved the colonies towards revolution to begin with. That was the one event.
Yeah. We had the Boston Massacre happen after that?
Before this? That was before.
Yeah. So the Boston Massacre, I think in our history books in school, they make it seem like it was this big, huge massacre, but I think it was like, what is it, one person was killed or two?
I can't remember.
But anyway, it's famous because John Adams represented the British soldiers.
Right.
And if you watch the John Adams movie, it goes into detail about that.
And even at that time with the Boston or the massacre was that we still were not thinking about breaking away from Great Britain.
Right. There was just the rumblings of some, we're not happy.
Yes. But the Boston Tea Party did something different, and it was a result of the tea tax. Mm-hmm. And the protest that had been taking place is all about taxation without representation.
Right.
Because the colonists had no representative in British Parliament, nor would British Parliament allow a colonist to sit on Parliament.
Right.
And so then you had this Boston Tea Party. Well, what do people nowadays know about the Boston Tea Party? Because it's not taught in school. So everybody thinks it's this big violent thing that takes place.
Like a riot.
Everybody's dressed as Indians. And that's not accurate whatsoever.
No.
You had a group of men who got together as part of a protest, and there was a specific ship in dock in Boston.
Samuel Adams was part of this, right?
He was. The Sons
of Liberty.
Yes. And several of the individuals that took place did dress as Mohawk Indians, but they didn't dress as Indians as to disguise themselves or to hide their identities. Everybody knew who they were. It was a representation of, we too are natives.
Yeah, this is our land. We were born here.
Yes. And Anybody who wants to doubt me, I challenge you to look up the official record for everything that has to do with the Boston Tea Party, and you're going to find out that that's an accurate statement.
Yeah, it was just a handful of them. It wasn't everybody.
Right. Anyway, so you had these guys come down there. It was a peaceful march to the ship.
Mm-hmm.
They boarded the ship, and their specific instructions were to only take the tea chests, break them apart, and throw them into Boston Harbor.
Right.
They touched no other cargo on the ship. They destroyed 342 tea chests.
And nobody was hurt, right?
Nope. And it was the equivalent of $1.7 million in tea by today's standards.
That'd be a lot of tea.
And they were also told to not damage anything. So there was one broken lock that occurred during the event.
Mm-hmm.
The protesters actually replaced the broken lock. And there was only one person that there was a slight scuffle with, and it was one of the members of the Tea Party, because as they're throwing it all overboard, someone discovered one of the members stuffing his pockets with the tea,
mm-hmm.
and they ripped the coat off of him and threw it overboard as well. That was the extent of it,
Yeah.
and it was completely peaceful, and they all walked away, and
Mm-hmm.
and that was the start of it.
Yeah, peaceful protest. It's a
Yeah.
very American thing.
And-
But I think today, if you boarded a ship, you would have the SWAT team coming down on you and, probably get,
Or a Hellfire missile from a drone
yeah,
over the ocean.
right. If you boarded on the ocean, and yeah, you're definitely getting.
But you know what? Taxation without representation.
That's the big thing. Right?
Now, we have representatives.
Allegedly.
But I'm going to go through, because I'm going to have a little bit of a tax rant here.
All right.
And because we're coming up in tax season.
Yeah,
We're
absolutely.
starting to already pay our taxes. Here in Missouri, we have a thing called the personal property tax.
Mm-hmm.
And for those of you who don't know what that is, anything that we own, such as cars, boats, trailers, homes, we have a property tax that we have to pay on every single year,
Mm-hmm.
annually in December. And I'm going to talk about that a little bit, because I have my personal property tax statement here with me. We are taxed on 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 different items
Wonderful.
for our homeowners.
Okay.
Of those 12 items, I'm going to tell you what they are. We pay a state tax, road and bridge tax, school, community college, library, fire, ambulance, developmental disability, city, and dispatch. And then we have 2 flat fees that we pay. That's the sewer fee and the water line fee. Now, that's all the taxes are based off of a rate per $1,000 of your home's assessed value.
Yeah.
And, so let's do the math. This is why people can't afford homes.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Because the personal property tax in most mortgage payments is rolled up into your mortgage payment, and your mortgage carrier pays that tax for you
Right.
every single year. You don't pay it, so you don't pay attention to it.
Yeah.
It makes up a full 40% of my monthly house payment.
Right. Yeah. And then, God forbid, you have a PMI on that mortgage as well.
Right. Which is typically the first 2 years that you own a house, unless you're able to put $20,000 down.
So 40% of your mortgage goes to the government
Yes.
for the crappy roads we drive on.
Mm-hmm. So it's ridiculous. The school is the highest.
Yeah.
Of my homeowner's property tax that I pay every year, 60% of it is for the schools.
Oh, boy.
And then everything else is made up for it. And, every single year we go out there and go, hey, we need to vote for a new tax increase, 1 cent.
It's only a penny.
Right. On to improve the roads or to pay for schools,
Yeah.
whatever. But nobody realizes it just get added to their personal property tax.
Mm-hmm.
So, for instance, my mortgage payment this year went up on the personal property tax side, went up by $60. And my homeowner's insurance, for no other reason than let's just do it, my homeowner's insurance went up $800.
Yeah.
Well, that's huge.
And health insurance goes up every year, too.
Right.
It seems.
So the same tax rates also apply to the personal property tax of the cars, boats, trailers, and things like that that we own. And so it's the same exact rates. We pay 10 for 10 items on that. We don't do the sewer and water line fee on it for those. But still, I mean, I'm paying those same rates on vehicles and trailers and boats that I might have bought 10, 15 years ago.
Right.
I'm still paying a tax on it.
Yeah, it's so.
Well, what was the sales tax and all that stuff that I paid when I first bought the thing?
Oh, robbery.
You know? So that's just on the personal property tax side when it comes to the house and your vehicles and stuff that you own.
Right.
And let's take it a step further. How about my water bill?
Okay.
Now, my water bill where I live, I pay quarterly.
To the city.
Yes. And it includes water, sewer, and trash. So all three are rolled into it.
Yeah.
Well, let's take a look at it. The water fixed fee, the water usage charge. The sewer fixed fee, the sewer usage charge. Security and locate fee.
Oh.
Backflow program.
Oh, yeah, that's a good one.
Landfill tax.
Why would you have to pay for the landfill?
Who knows? But I'm paying all that
I
away
guess
as
for
well.
the trash, to put your trash there.
Right. So then we go on to my electric.
Mm-hmm.
The electric is fun because the details on it are not only do I have the normal charge and the customer charge, but I also have a fuel adjustment charge, an energy efficiency investment charge, a renewable energy adjustment, Rush Island retirement cost.
What the heck is that?
I'll tell you in a second. And then St. Peter's municipal charge. So just for the privilege of living in the city of St. Peter's, I'm also paying a tax to them.
Oh, my gosh.
So what is the Rush Island retirement? Well, the Rush Island retirement cost is a coal-fired plant located in Festus, Missouri, that is closing down. So they're actually putting a charge towards me to help pay for the cost of them shutting it down.
Who
I guess
agreed
it's
to
out
that?
of date. Well, the Missouri, what is it? The Missouri something commission.
Well, who agreed to make citizens of the city of St. Peter's pay for a coal power plant?
Well, no, it's everybody within this electric company.
So we use power from that plant?
Well, not anymore because they're shutting it down. But we're paying for the cost. We're helping offset the cost of it.
Oh,
So they just pass it on to the end user.
of course.
Again, I didn't say to shut down the coal plant. I would have kept running it. Because in the meantime, you're giving me a renewable energy adjustment. Well, I thought solar energy is free. I thought it's supposed to help reduce cost.
Right.
Why am I paying extra? Because you want to use solar and wind power.
Right.
It doesn't
That's
make any stupid sense at all.
Well, yeah, it's a business decision that they made, and they're passing the cost on to the customers who have no choice but to use their power. Like, you can't shop around for different power companies.
Right. Now, to take it one step further on the Rush Island retirement cost, the state of Missouri agreed to pass that cost on because this electric company is an investor-owned utility. Well, you know what? I'm not personally invested into this utility company.
No.
I don't own stock in it.
Right.
So because I'm not doing it, why are you paying me the charge? Why don't you charge all the investors
Yeah, or
for it?
pay them a little bit less return on investment.
Crazy. So my electric
God
bill,
forbid.
11% of my electric bill every month is in taxes and fees. Now,
Okay.
how about my gas bill?
Yeah, let's look at that.
My gas bill isn't as bad, but there's this crazy thing called WNAR, which is the weather. Ooh, let's see. I think I got that written down somewhere. It is. Where am I? Give me 1 second. Oh, right. It's on the back of it. The Weather Normalization Adjustment Rider. Now, apparently,
They control the weather?
someone can correct me if I'm wrong, but apparently, in layman's terms, the WNAR fee that I have is an adjustment based on the cost to move the gas across the pipes. And there's this crazy weather adjustment fee.
Because
And
it moved, like, depending on the weather outside?
I think what it is because they prepay, and then the weather isn't as bad, so people don't use as much gas,
yeah.
so then they get stuck with the cost. Well, they just pass it right back to us.
Of course. Why wouldn't they?
And then so I'm also paying for the pipeline upgrades
Yeah, you need that.
that the gas company's using. And so I have those fees as well as part of my gas bill. So,
Well, then you have your grocery bill.
well, hang on. I'm on a roll here, man.
All right, do it.
The classic example of taxation without representation. It actually exists with the city of St. Louis. If you live outside of the city limits, which I do, and I worked in the city limits for 15 years,
Yeah.
there is a 1% income tax that is paid, that's deducted out of my gross earnings, that goes to the coffers of the city of St. Louis.
How in the world did they do that?
Don't know, but it's
How
part of
did
their
they-
charter. And so I have no one to call in the city of St. Louis.
Right.
I have no representative
Can't redress your grievances with anybody.
with anyone in the city of St. Louis because I am not a citizen of the city of St. Louis.
Yeah, you have no representative.
But you're going to take 1% of my income, gross income,
Yeah.
into your coffers. And there's no deduction. You have to pay it. It comes automatically through your employer.
Dude. And I bet
And-
most people are like, it's just 1%. No big deal.
Technically, there's a deduction if you, let's say I work there, but I traveled to, I don't know, Ohio and worked there for a month. I can file a form and deduct that 1 month's pay,
Oh, my God.
that 1%. That's the classic example. So now,
Yeah, I
I
wonder
pay-
why St. Louis is getting abandoned.
right. So think about it. Someone who is, this is why people can't afford anything anymore. We want to talk about inflation and all that stuff.
Whatever.
It's our taxes.
It is. Yeah.
Because if I'm earning 100% of something, you're going to take 1% out because I work in the city of St. Louis. Now I'm at 99. And then I'm going to get taxed on my income and all that stuff, or off my utilities and all that, which is another 6% on average. I did the math. So I'm going to take off another 6. So now I'm down to 93% of my money is mine. Now we get into state taxes, federal taxes, and wherever you're in that tax bracket, the 22% or 24 or whatever,
Yeah.
30%, that's coming off the top as well. You get some deductions. And then the worst of it all is sales tax,
Yes.
because you get no recourse for a sales tax, none. So every purchase you make is a sales tax. St. Charles County, 8.95% on every purchase you make, other than certain grocery items,
Yeah.
because I think it's 3%. But 8.95%,
It's
right off the top.
disgusting.
And everybody wants to cry about why they have no money. We need to raise taxes to pay for this. Raise taxes. No, you don't. You need to kill the taxes so we get more money in our pockets.
Yeah. And then you can spend more money.
Right. So right now, the city or St. Charles County is crying about their loss in income tax or sales tax revenue
Yeah.
because of whatever's going on there. And they're trying to figure out what they're going to do about it. But then you have St. Louis County, who just announced a reduction in their budget by $5.9 million.
That's
They're-
nothing.
Right, but they're choosing not to add. They're just taking stuff away. Smart.
Smart. Yeah.
That's smart business.
yeah.
And it just goes on and on and on and on.
Yeah. Like I drive around St. Charles County and I see all these traffic cameras up, flock cameras, cops riding around in SUVs. We have a lot of fire departments around here that's like, I'm sure you have to have a certain amount of firefighters per per like couple thousand residents. It's like there's a ratio, so it keeps everybody's homeowners insurance down and all that kind of stuff. And look, I'm a former firefighter. I love all my brothers on the job, but these guys are making 6 figures. I started out as a firefighter not that long ago, making $29,000 a year. $26,000
Yeah.
a year, and I was happy to have to do the job because I loved it.
Yeah. But you know, our taxes, no one pays attention to it.
No, you
And
don't.
they go to the poll and they go, oh, it's for the roads, it's
Yeah.
for ambulance. We need to help these people. And everyone adds to it.
Right.
We have so many taxes right now. I just gave you all the percentages.
That's insane, man.
The Boston Tea Party, which triggered everything rolling into the American Revolution, was triggered off of a 3%
3%.
tax. We pay 9% just in sales tax
just
now.
just to buy some.
Please
Buy your Christmas gifts.
vote no. Vote no on tax increases.
Any tax increase, you should vote no.
Vote no on a no tax increase bond
And
issue.
in fact, any of your local representatives, your supposed representatives on county council or city council, who bring up a tax increase or want to increase revenue, when they say we need to increase revenue, that means they're going to steal it from you. You need to vote those people out of office.
And by the way, the utility commission, I forget what they're called, for the state of Missouri, they never say no to an increase
So a
in
rate
rates.
increase. Yeah, they just
Never.
Ameren just had a rate increase, didn't they?
They did. Oh, all of them did this year.
Spire.
Matter of fact, my water bill, my latest one, where is it? Automatic, 3.5% increase on water
Dude.
and 10% increase on sewer.
So
Now, I didn't know my poop was worth a 10% increase.
So if you wanted to dig a well in your backyard and pump your own water, could you do that here in St. Peters?
I don't think so.
No. So you're just
Most municipalities you're not allowed.
you're just a resident on the plantation of Slavelandia, as my buddy says. That's all we are, tax slaves. We're working to fund our government, and there
Now,
you go. Good luck.
There is the argument. Every now and then I'll hear about this. So, for instance, we want to raise taxes by 1% or 0.05%
Right.
for some project or whatever.
Oh, the teachers don't get paid enough.
And I hear this straw man argument all the time. It's not a lot. It's only, it only comes out to $4 extra on per month or per year or whatever.
Right. Or they'll say it's only temporary. It's only a
You're
3
not
year.
considering all the other taxes you're paying.
Yeah.
It all gets added.
Yeah, so this is what our founding fathers were afraid of was going to happen, that the American people would fall asleep and quit paying attention to what the politicians were doing to them, that they would get so comfortable that they wouldn't be concerned with what the government was doing. And we are there. Honestly, I don't think we have a republic anymore. I think we're gone, long gone. And, some of the people who claim to be our representatives now call themselves our leaders.
Right.
That is to me is terrifying. That's
is.
insane to think that somebody that you elected to go into office to represent your best interest and calls themselves your leader is insane. The president of the United States is not our leader. He is just the person that we elected to represent us in the world and the executive branch. That's it. He's just another citizen.
Now, I will say in some cases, I'm seeing a little bit of breath of fresh air from Congress who are resisting some of the executive actions that are taking place.
Yeah, the executive order stuff is out of control.
And it's bipartisan. So I appreciate that Congress is coming back in and taking back some of the authority on the War Powers Act and stuff like that. They got a long way to go.
It'll never get fixed without getting rid of the special interests and the lobbyists and
Right. Well, I think that's why there's so much upheaval right now, is because a lot of it is being exposed in certain ways that we don't really know, other than we just see what's going on in the news and
right.
with money and
Like them doing insider trading. Dan Crenshaw,
Yes.
Representative from Texas right now is, he makes $176,000 a year as a congressman. He was a former Navy SEAL. He's got probably like a medical retirement because he lost his eye. So he's got a medical pension. And then all of a sudden, he's a multimillionaire. Like, how the heck does that happen?
right.
Because you watch his stock trades. If you go on to, there's a website, you can track all their stock trades, and you can actually follow them. And you'll make a lot of money following their trades because they know the inside information. He was called out by another SEAL, not even by name, just saying, there's a representative who's having a 40th birthday party with this guy Steve Aoki, who's a famous DJ, I guess, who's going to be DJing at his 40th birthday party. And he was like, damn, how much does that cost to get this famous, world famous DJ to play? It's like $260,000 for him to come DJ at your event, the minimum. And he was there. And apparently it was like this big, luxurious, ridiculous party. Like, and so now Dan Crenshaw is suing this guy. He said he sent him a cease and desist order, going to sue him, take him to court. So that guy, Sean Ryan, who has a show on YouTube, he said, okay, sue me. Let's go to court. We'll do discovery, and I'll see every single one of your trades. Let's go.
Nice.
Yeah. So it's good that they're getting called out all over. And it's good that they're getting called out by citizen journalists, not corporate media. I like that citizen journalists are stepping up, using their platforms to call this bullcrap out.
Mm-hmm.
And, unfortunately, a lot of the people you think are going to be your super conservative, MAGA, right-wing guys, they're some of the dirtiest. They're like Marjorie Taylor Greene. She's one of the worst.
Well, she's out.
Yeah, she quit. Dan Crenshaw, he's a Republican. He's Dan, then you have Nancy Pelosi, but the thing, it's like they're all the same, man. Once they get in there, that's why they call it the swamp. Everybody gets dirty. And
I've always been a proponent. So, me, I can't afford to be a U.S. representative,
right,
representing the state of Missouri, because I still have to pay out of pocket and all that for lodging and all that stuff in D.C. and all that. I've always been a proponent that the state of Missouri should have a Missouri home in D.C.
Yeah,
in which that's where the U.S. representatives for the state of Missouri, that's where they all live.
Yeah, just roommates.
It's paid for by the state. That's where you stay.
A duplex, that would work.
And then the common man would be able to run within reason and have a place to stay and not have to worry about that kind of thing.
Yeah, I almost feel like it should be by conscription, that you just get like jury duty. Like, oh, you got to go spend a year in Congress in D.C.
It's your turn.
That could be a disaster. Yeah, so, well, taxation is theft. That's all there is to it. You have no choice. You have to pay this. They steal it right out of your paycheck, and you have no voice.
Well, that's my tax rant for today.
Dude, I want to go further, but let's not. It's Christmas, man. Let's be cheery.
Are you all right, Matt?
No. I'm really angry right now. Washington's decision to cross the Delaware on Christmas Eve, right? Let's talk about that.
Tell me about it.
Well, they didn't mention it on the Ken Burns documentary at all. They didn't talk about it, I don't think. Either that or I fell asleep when they talked about it.
They did in episode 1.
Did they? Oh, episode 1?
Yes.
Okay. So it was a long time ago. This is a long documentary. It's a surprise attack. The British thought there's no way we're going to be seeing combat on Christmas. And Washington said, watch this. Basically.
Yep. So that was one of the things that was well known about General Washington, is that he was best suited to respond when things were their worst. When things were great, he didn't seem to perform as well.
Right.
But when things were bad, they were. And here it is, December, and January 1st, all the enlistment contracts are going to go away. And he only had, I think, 2,000 to 3,000 soldiers left, and they're all about to quit their enlistment because their contract was up.
They weren't even getting paid, were they? It was just like an IOU?
It was always hit and miss, yeah. I mean, there was so much fighting after the revolution was over for payment.
And it was only for like 3 months of back pay. That's all they were going to...
And, so Washington is trying to figure out, he's the only one, because I was doing some good reading from the book called 1776 by David McCullough. And he really mentions in detail about how Washington's staff was so miserable at this time, and they just were losing hope. And Washington was the only one that just was rock steady. Just go, no, we can do this. We can do this.
What year was this?
1776.
Okay, so it was early on.
Yeah. And, right? 17, yeah. And then Christmas Eve rolls around.
Mm.
Well, there was one member of his staff. He was his judge advocate, Colonel William Tudor, who his letters survive that were sent to his wife.
Oh,
The letters he used to write.
cool.
And in this letter, prior to them breaking out and doing the campaign, he wrote his wife and said, "I cannot desert a man who has deserted everything to defend his country."
Mm.
And, he was all in, but he was in the same mood as everybody else. But at the same time, he's going, I can't abandon General Washington. He wants to do this.
Yeah.
So here they are crossing the Delaware in the middle of the night. You got ice floes all over the place. And not everybody was able to cross because the ice floes got so bad.
Mm.
And then so he had a much smaller force than he thought he was going to have.
Okay.
They kept moving all night long, never stopping. It's in blizzard conditions.
Yeah.
And they ended up right at dawn, right around that time, they were able to hit Trenton, right?
Yeah.
Able to hit Trenton, where the Hessians were saying. The Hessians were German mercenaries hired by the British. Mm-hmm. And they were some mean dudes.
Oh, yeah.
And again, contrary to popular belief that the Hessians are all drunk from their Christmas celebration is inaccurate.
Yeah.
They weren't. Yes, they did drink, but not much. And they were awakened as everything was happening. But General Washington and his crew was able to move quick with artillery and knock out and capture the Hessians. He left a small force behind, and they went on to Princeton, right? Princeton was the next one?
I guess that's in New Jersey. Right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then, so they went on to the next one and won that battle as well. The British that were there retreated.
Nice.
From that point on, Washington, the British completely abandoned New Jersey and went back to New York.
New York, yeah.
And that completely uplifted and changed the morale of the Americans, especially the Continental Congress, who were on the verge of thinking,
Yeah, they were going to fire him, right?
yeah, nothing was going to work. And that really raised everyone at that point. And Washington was able to maintain an army going into the new year.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, I mean, crazy stuff.
Yeah, and it was like that every year, right? Because the enlistments would be coming up, and they'd have to convince the guys to stay. And then Washington paid out of his own pocket sometimes for a lot of stuff. Even though I think he got paid back for that, right? Did he give him a bill at the end of the war?
He did.
I think he kept track of everything.
For his expenses.
Yeah.
Yes, not for pay, for
Not
expenses.
Expenses. Yeah, and that brings up, you remember the officers all got together and they were talking about a mutiny, and Washington found out about it and showed up at their meeting, and he asked them if they would allow him to speak, and then when he had to pull his glasses out to see what he had written, and he was just like, "Oh, I'm sorry, what do you say? I've grown old, and my eyes I've grown old and blind in my service to the country." And then he didn't even have to say anything else. Everybody's like, "Oh man," because I think he was like one of the wealthiest people in the colonies, wasn't he? Definitely had a huge holding of
Probably
land.
so, yeah.
Yeah, he was one, and so everybody knew what he was sacrificing. So anyway, we won that one. That was nice. Fast forward to World War One. This does not involve the Americans, but this was the British Expeditionary Force and the German soldiers. Late on Christmas Eve 2014, there was widespread unofficial ceasefires along the Western Front, mainly. The German troops could be seen in the trenches opposite, singing carols and patriotic songs. They saw lanterns, small fir trees. They would put small fir trees up on the trenches, little Christmas trees. And then messages were being shouted back and forth, I guess, like Merry Christmas and that kind of stuff. The following day, the British and German soldiers met in no man's land and exchanged gifts, took photos, and some played impromptu games of soccer, or football as they call it.
Crazy.
They also took the time to bury their casualties and repair the trenches. So the following year, 1915, the Allied forces had to give orders, like, do not do this again. All the officers, they told them, like, do not let your soldiers do this again, or it'll be treason or whatever. And so there were a few different spots that it happened after that. I guess less supervised areas, but that just kind of shows the humanity and the tragedy of war, right?
Mm-hmm.
That
we're all human.
Yeah, we're just human beings, and war is hell, man. Let's see, December 16th, which was this past week, 1944, through January 25th, Battle of the Bulge.
Right.
The Battle of the Bulge was like Germany's last chance to strike. I think they were probably trying to force. Am I correct that the Germans were trying to force basically a treaty? They were trying to basically get a position of power so they could
kind of
say, hey, we'll just hold what we got, and you stay there. Everything's cool.
Right. Their plan was to shoot all the way up to the port of Antwerp and cut the British and the Americans apart.
Okay. But you had a lot of different units, did some very heroic things. One combat engineer unit basically fell back to a town and held off a whole SS division for 4 days until they got reinforced, and it basically saved everybody. Then you had the 101st in Bastogne.
You also mentioned the 106th Infantry.
Yeah, the 106th Infantry, that was their first time being in battle. And
right, because the Ardennes area was where the U.S. Army was sending troops for rest and also acclimation.
Yeah, training
to road them back in
up to go to the front, and they had 7,000 people, 7,000 soldiers captured, which was basically 2 regiments of that division, I think, right?
Right. Yeah.
2 regiments were captured, and one of the guys who was captured, a captain, was the division commander's son. So the division commander, that was his first time in combat, being and getting tested, and he basically faked a heart attack, I think is what they say, and instead of getting fired. But I think Bradley kept him on his staff. And then they rebuilt the division and came back with, those guys. One of the soldiers is Kurt Vonnegut, was in that division.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and he was the one who wrote Slaughterhouse-Five, because he was in Dresden during the firebombing. So yeah, it was a disaster at the beginning, but the Americans just held on.
Yeah, I think that invasion, or the operation, it started December 16, I think.
Mm-hmm.
And then it was growing, and the Allies finally figured out what was going on with the Germans, and
Patton came to the rescue.
Yep. He was already starting his invasion into Germany.
Yeah.
And he completely diverted his army 90 degrees, shooting up north. And then you had the general, the assistant division commander of the 101st, who was in command of Bastogne at the time. They're completely surrounded.
Yeah.
And the significance of Bastogne is it had 5 separate road networks that all went into Bastogne. So you needed it.
Oh, yeah.
To get your army moving quickly.
Yeah, the Germans needed it.
Yes.
It was very important.
Yep. And so they put a lot of effort into trying to get it, and they weren't able to. The 101st and all the supporting divisions or units there did their best, and at one point the Germans came and asked for their surrender, and General McAuliffe's one-word response was nuts. Which the Germans didn't even understand what that meant.
In today's parlance, they would say, D's nuts.
Right. And then, so, they're able to hold out, and Patton's Third Army on the 24th of December was able to break in and relieve Bastogne. Wasn't it?
24th of January.
No.
Was it
That's
December?
when the battle was over.
Oh, so he broke through to Bastogne on the 20. Okay.
Relieved Bastogne on the
Yeah.
24th of December. And one of the interesting things about that is there's this tank we have today, the M1 Abrams.
Yeah.
General Creighton Abrams is what it's named after.
Mm-hmm.
Well, Lieutenant Colonel Abrams
Oh, he
was in
Third Army.
the tank battalion that led the breakthrough to Bastogne.
Nice.
Yeah. So,
Did you see they just came out with a new model of the M1 Abrams? M1 E3, it's called.
what's different about it?
I don't know. I didn't look into it. I'm not a tanker. I'm not a.
I mean, we were running the A2, M1A2.
Yeah, this one's called the E3.
The electronic version, is
I
it
don't
the
I'm not a fat lazy
manless?
slob. I don't sit on tanks.
manless version?
I don't know. It looks cooler. It looks like more angular. Looks like a
Yeah.
Corvette, maybe. I don't know.
But the Battle of the Bulge was very costly, hard. We
Yeah.
didn't actually retrieve the bulge that the Germans created until late January.
Yeah.
So that just tells you how hard that fighting was at
Yeah,
that period of
and
time.
the bulge refers to a bulge in the line. They pushed through our line and it caused this bulge in what the front, back when there used to be fronts in wars.
Which kind of leads us to, we were talking General Patton. So the next thing
Yeah.
in line was General Patton.
Yeah.
So, back on, or the 21st of December, he was out riding around with,
Just left a meeting or something, didn't he?
I don't know exactly, but he had another general with him and his driver, and an army truck was making a left turn. They went over railroad crossing. I guess has that hill,
Yeah.
and they were driving at a higher rate of speed, and they go over it, and there's an army truck making a left turn and hit right into the side of them, and no one was injured except General Patton.
Yeah.
And he hit his head on the bar across the top of the roof of the car,
Yeah, like a roll bar.
and it was enough to break his neck. And so he was paralyzed from the neck down, and it was General Hobart Gay who was with him.
Okay.
And at the time of the wreck, they're there, and he asked General Gay to rub his fingers, and he did. And Patton yelled back at him, "Go ahead, Hap, work my fingers." And he realized at that point that he was paralyzed. Had to work through that paralyzation for the next 12 days before he passed away. And interesting enough, the French government actually requested or made the recommendation that he could be buried in Napoleon's tomb
Whoa.
as an honor for liberating the country of France. And that was turned down.
Yeah.
And his wife Beatrice, based on a recommendation or a suggestion, said that he should be buried here in Europe with his troops.
Yeah.
And so that's what happened. He's buried in Ham, Luxembourg, with his other Third Army soldiers. And all those that he's buried with, they're all from the Battle of the Bulge.
I have a feeling he would have loved being buried in Napoleon's tomb.
Yeah,
He would have thought,
possibly.
he probably would have said, "Yeah, this is right. I should be buried here."
The interesting thing is he was dug up and moved 3 times.
Really?
Yeah. Because when they buried him with the troops, so many people came to see him that they're trotting all over the graves of everyone else and tearing up the property, that they dug him up, moved him to another spot, and same thing was happening again.
Wow.
They dug him up. This time they moved him to the head of the cemetery
Oh, okay.
with a larger marker, or the same marker, but the gravestones that surround him are all blank.
Oh, so they're not real. Nobody's there.
Right, and instead of grass around it, it's all paved stones.
Interesting.
So that way you're not tearing up the property anymore, because many people still go see them.
Yeah, that would be so cool. Luxembourg American Cemetery.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see what. Okay. There's like a little mausoleum there now. Oh, there's so many graves there. Yeah, I liked. George Bush's response during the global war on terror when France said, like, no, we're not going to help you. And all that kind of stuff. He's like, cool. We'll take all our soldiers back, though. Now, you can send them home.
Yeah, you know what? I don't know
France
what it
was
is
like,
with the French.
all
Ever
right.
since Napoleon, they just fell apart as a country. I mean, they were even part of NATO afterwards. And then I want to say around 1955, 57,
Yeah.
they actually pulled out of NATO. So they're not a part of NATO today,
Oh, man, that's nice. I wish we
And-
would do that.
right?
Yeah, then they had the troubles in Vietnam. Basically, got their ass handed to them there.
Yeah. What was that battle?
Dien Bien Phu
Yes.
was the final blow, basically.
Yeah.
The
Well,
French
you know
Foreign
what?
Legion.
You're never going to defend and win
No.
when you're in the low ground.
Right. Yeah. Yeah, we should have learned those insurgency lessons. I think, what was his name? The guy that was, who wrote the insurgency manual, basically, for the American Army.
Yeah, and considering that we are the fathers
Yeah, we created that.
of insurgency
that tactic.
warfare,
You think we would know better.
right?
Oh, boy. Trying to look at my notes. I don't think we have anything else.
Well, again, it's Christmas,
Yeah, Christmas.
and I had a thought today. And we talk about often enough about random acts of kindness, and I've mentioned it so many times. You're walking through the parking lot of the grocery store. You're walking by, and they just finished emptying out their groceries. Just ask that you'll take the cart back for them.
Oh, yeah, I do that all the time.
Matter of fact, use the cart.
Yeah, I
instead
use
of-
it. I just take it in with me.
Right.
I'm going that way anyway.
People appreciate that. Holding the door open for someone.
That's a big one. Yeah.
Letting the car next to you with his blinker on to get in the lane in
Yeah,
front
let
of
them
you.
merge. What's the big deal?
There's so many things. And there is enough science out there that documents the reality and the proof that when you are kind or you do an act of kindness for someone, it improves the chemistry in your own brain,
Yeah, a little dopamine hit, probably.
that
right?
but it lasts,
Yeah.
and it causes you to want to do other things. So my challenge is, let's not have random acts of kindness. I want you to do the opposite. I want you to have deliberate or intentional acts of
Yeah.
kindness.
Just be kind. Like, just be kind.
But I want you to actually figure out
Practice it.
a way to be kind to somebody.
Yeah. I've been taking what you said about using people's names. Like, those folks at the grocery store or Walmart, they have a name tag on, and it tells you their name
Right.
for a reason. So use their name. I say sir and ma'am, a lot. And even if somebody's younger than me, if they're serving me or doing whatever, I'd say thank you, sir. Unless they're a cop, I don't do that. But just kidding. I don't want to get beat up, so I say yes, sir. I don't get jumped. But use their name, and that goes so far. You can see they're like, "How the heck do you know my name?" They're
Right.
like, "What?"
Actually, when you say their name, look at their face.
Yeah.
Because you'll either see a twinkle in the eye or a slight smirk
Yeah.
in their mouth.
I guarantee you they felt a little tingle in their chest.
Exactly.
Because, in the Army, if somebody calls you out by your name, you get a sense of dread. You're like, oh God, how does the sergeant major know my name? But those folks are there working on a Saturday, or a Sunday, whatever, and you're in a rush to get your last minute Christmas food or whatever the heck you're doing. Walmart. I went to Walmart on a Friday night. That was insane. Friday. I had to park all the way in the back of the parking lot, and it was packed. And you can't get a cashier at Walmart anymore. Apparently, it's all self checkout. I think they have like maybe one lane open with a person, But everybody else there, it seemed at the Walmart on Jungerman, everybody working there is either stocking shelves or prepping for pickup orders. Just filling boxes for pickup orders.
Oh, yeah.
That's it.
They're everywhere. It's hard to navigate the stores with so many people doing all the pickup orders.
I was dodging Walmart employees the whole time.
Right.
And I didn't even have a cart. I can't imagine pushing a grocery cart around because they're everywhere. But if you ask somebody for help and they help you and they have a name tag on, just use their name and say thank you.
Right. Well, so this is my Christmas challenge, and I want everyone to take it into 2026, is let's not be random. Let's be intentional.
Yeah.
And actually figure out a way. Matter of fact, give yourself a number. I am going to do an act of kindness 6 times today. Yeah. And make sure that you do 6 acts of kindness. And I will challenge you that even your own siblings, your wife or husband, kids, they don't count.
No. Be kind. You should, if you have to be intentionally kind to your family,
yeah,
come on, dude.
Yeah. But you know what? Look, we can change. We can be a ripple effect to our communities.
Yeah, you can guarantee they're taking that home. They're going to feel a little bit better.
Yes.
Going home that night.
Yeah. Use the concept pay it forward.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. That works.
Yeah. I remember being a high school kid working at Warenberg movie theater at the mall, Mid-Rivers Mall. And I was an usher, so I would tear the tickets, go clean up after. But every once in a while, we get super busy. I have to go back behind the concession stand and help fill popcorn and whatever. So we're back there hustling, man. We're working our butts off because the lines are crazy. It's a rush. And I remember one time this dude said, "Hey, Matt, you're doing a great job, man. Keep up the good work." I'm just filling popcorn. I'm like busting my butt trying to keep up. And he's like, "Man, you're working really hard. You're doing a great job. Keep it up." And I was like, "Hell yeah."
Right.
I'm the best popcorn filler in the world.
I will tell you, there was one time when I was in line at a grocery store, and there was a mom and 2 kids, and she's doing her groceries, and, she's got her, what they call it, the SNAP card or something, whatever it was at one time.
EBT.
And she's going through and doing her stuff, and they ring it up, and she's short. And the cashier's going, you're over on your amount, your limit, and we got to figure out what. So the mom's going, I don't know what to take out. What I kind of need this stuff, and the cashier's going, I can't do anything. I mean, it's and I'm standing there, I'm going, and I just flat out said, but how much is she short? And she said something like 24, 35, something like that.
Yeah.
And I said, I'll give you $25. And just paid the $25 so she can keep all her groceries and go.
Yeah.
And, those are the acts of kindness that I'm talking about. Otherwise she's going to have to sit there. You're holding up the line. That's the other perspective.
Sure.
I'm making things easier.
I've been in that situation before where I had to pull groceries off the belt because I didn't have enough money.
Yeah, but you know what? I feel better afterwards. I felt better afterwards.
Sure. Yeah.
It was like I was able to help somebody. Mm-hmm. And I wasn't looking for it. It just happened.
Yep.
So be open to it.
Yeah. And dude, how many people spend $25 on 2 trips to Starbucks in a week?
Right.
Come on, folks.
Yep. Yeah, that's coming up because, I'm working on my 2026 stuff. We'll talk about that soon.
Oh, the Starbucks visits?
Well, I don't go to Starbucks, but I'm just talking in general.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, I have, I did my entire 2026 budget for the whole year.
You already did it?
Yeah.
Okay, I'm not there yet.
And I've revised it like 5 times.
So I've got one other thing to bring up.
Alrighty.
But first I want to ask you what your thoughts are on the Booker's 2025-04.
I think it's excellent.
Phillips Pipes? Is that what it was? Phillips Pipes?
The Phantom Pipes.
The Phantom Pipes.
Silly name, but a serious bourbon. This is what I want a bourbon. This is like, I'm a bourbon drinker and this is a bourbon. I think this personifies what I look for in a bourbon.
All right.
heat, but not punching you in the throat. Spice, but not overwhelming. Well-rounded, good mouthfeel, good smell. Like I said, you could sit by the fireplace and sip on this while you're reading the book in the wintertime.
Yeah.
This is great.
Well, when we were doing 2025-02,
Yeah.
one of the things that was the highlight of it is that it made our eyeballs sweat.
Yeah.
This one's real close.
Close.
Like I can kind of feel the heat underneath my eyes,
Yeah.
but just not enough to make
I've
it
had
sweat.
to lift my headphones off a little bit, let my ears get some air, because it's
It is certainly better than 03.
definitely.
When 03 was just hot and I couldn't figure out what the flavors were. I probably had to add a little bit of water to dilute it a little bit to bring the flavors out, which I didn't do. Because we drink them neat,
Yeah.
because we want to be as natural as possible
We've
with all
added
this.
water a couple times to some things.
That was just to play around with
to
it,
play
though.
with, yeah.
Yeah.
After we've done our tasting. But for me, 5 stars, man. I think.
Really?
Yeah.
I'm going to go with 4.
4. Okay.
Yep. Because it just does. I don't think it matches the intensity and the quality of 02.
Alrighty.
So I'm going to go with 4.
And like I said, I got a 1 on the shelf over there. We went out of order because I started buying the Bookers after the first quarter of the year, but I just happened to come across a bottle of it today.
Mm-hmm.
So I snatched it up, and I have the whole set for 2025. And I'm done collecting bourbons
For now.
for now, till next year, 2026.
So on the heel of random acts of kindness, intentional acts of
Intentional.
kindness.
Yeah.
I have another act of kindness I want to bring up. It's a story.
Okay.
On this date, today, because today that we're recording is the 20th of December. December 20, 1943. There is a B-17 bomb group over Germany doing a bombing run. And there's one specific B-17 called the Ye Old Pub is the name of it. It was led by pilot Charles Brown. He happened to be 21 years old, and he was a pilot of this B-17 bomber.
Commander of the plane.
Yep. And it is badly shot up. He's barely able to keep it in the air. And there is a fighter on the German side in his Focke-Wulf 190 who comes up. His name is Franz Stiegler. He was 28. He was one B-17 shoot down away from earning an Iron Cross. He had shot down 2 others in the same day. He flies up onto the back end of this B-17 bomber to shoot it out of the sky and finish it off. When he notices, as he nears it, notices that the tail gunner of the B-17 is not moving his guns towards him. He doesn't shoot. He goes in a little bit closer, and the sides of the plane are completely blown out.
Yeah.
And he can actually see into the plane, and he can see the crew members back in the plane, like the waist gunners and stuff like that, doing everything they can to provide first aid and help the crew.
Yeah.
They weren't even paying attention to anything anymore. And an immediate thought came to his mind. One of his instructions from his commander was, if I ever see any of you try to shoot down anyone in a parachute, I will line you up in front of a firing squad and kill you.
Oh, wow.
When he saw what he saw in that bomber, he equated that with these guys are in a
Yeah,
parachute.
they're out of the fight.
Yeah. So he chose not to shoot them down. Instead, he risked his career, his Iron Cross, his reputation, and his own life to escort this bomber, this enemy bomber, back towards home. Now, he is trying to provide signals, hand and arm signals, fly to Sweden, neutral Sweden, and land.
Okay.
They didn't do it. They couldn't understand him.
Yeah.
So instead, they kept flying back towards England. And so he rode right next to him all the way, and no one shot at him, and none of the other planes did because,
He was close to him.
and everybody identified him as one of their own.
Yeah.
So the anti-aircraft didn't shoot.
Wow.
All the way up till they got to the North Sea. They got out of enemy territory, and he turned around and flew down. That event was kept secret by the United States and Germany.
Yeah.
And they told him, if you ever talk about it, we will line you up in front of a firing squad and shoot you.
Dang.
Now, he ended up earning 2 different Iron Crosses over the course of his career, and the remainder is the fight with Germany.
Right.
After the war, he survived. Out of 4, and this is another odd statistic, but out of 40,000 German fighter pilots, 2,000 survived the war.
Oh my gosh.
He was one of them, and he migrated to Canada, and that's where he lived. Well, come around 1990, the now retired Lieutenant Colonel Charles Brown wanted to find out who the guy was that helped escort his bomber to safety.
Yeah.
So he did some digging, and he was able to find him.
Wow.
And they met up in 1990, and they ended up becoming really close friends, stayed connected to each other because he lived in Florida, and the German lived in Canada. So they visited each other often the remainder years of their lives.
Man.
And they ended up both passing away in 2008 within months of each other.
Wow.
And you know, I'm getting a little choked up telling this story because this is an ultimate idea of grace, mercy, and kindness in action between enemies.
I mean, that's
honor.
an honor amongst,
Between enemies, and
amazing,
they recognize themselves as each other's brothers in a
Yeah.
way, and
Yeah,
stayed
they
that
both
way
didn't
until
have
the
a
day they
choice.
died.
They're both just a victim of circumstance. You know, they didn't start the war. They were just doing what they thought was their duty
Right.
to their country. And some damn politicians, you know.
But I just found
whatever,
that to be an amazing story, and
That
I
is
found it to be a
incredible.
great conclusion to, you know, our little Christmas podcast.
That's really incredible, man. Well, thanks for coming over, Kevin.
Yeah, you bet.
It's been a good show. Good bourbon. Good talk. And Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas, sir.
Bye-bye.
Peace out.